Alright, welcome back. In this video we're going to look at getchar. This will be handy for getting single characters from the keyboard. With this we can assume for now that the user will always give us a single character. Okay, so we don't have to deal with anything complex for now. So for getting a character, we're going to use the integer type char. Remember, char is an integer, alright? That's one thing that I mentioned early on, a lot of students get confused by. Char is an integer type, it's 8-bit, so it's suitable for storing ASCII characters. So we've got two of those, okay? Now, these aren't initialized at the moment, so they have some random value in them, okay, just whatever was in memory last. Okay, so we don't know what's inside there. Now, we then have our getchars, and the way we do this is we call the function. Okay, this is called a function because it's got the brackets, sorry, and on the left hand side is where we want to store that character. Now, whenever doing stuff like this, one of the biggest mistakes that students early on do is they say, my program isn't working, and it just sits there doing nothing. So with your program, the first thing that we're missing here is a prompt. So a prompt is basically a message to the user to say to enter something. Because if you just have this getchar here, to get the character from the keyboard, you won't know what to enter and when to enter it. So we just need to make sure that if we are going to use getchar or scanf later on, that we do have a prompt to ask them to enter something. Okay? And that'll do. Okay, so here, all we're doing is we're asking the user, please enter a single character. Now, in terms of the execution here, what we're going to see is we create these two variables, then we print, and then we get to this line here with the getchar. Now, we remember that the right-hand side has to be evaluated first. But this getchar can't currently get anything because standard in is empty. And so the program will just sit here and wait. Okay? So nothing will happen on the right-hand side yet. It will just wait and wait and wait and wait until something is entered on the keyboard. So we then stop waiting and we enter something on the keyboard. So I'm going to enter the letter A, remembering that I need to press the enter key. So I'm going to get this new line here. So what happens here is I go and get that first character, which is an A, okay, and I store that in my variable also called A. So important thing here, this one's a value, okay, and this one here's a name, all right, they are not the same. So I go and store that, and because I read it, it moves across in standard in. Then I want the user to enter another character. So I'm going to put another line of text, and I'm going to say printf enter another character. Alright. So this is where the biggest problem happens, and this is where most students have problems. So we've printed out to the screen, please enter a single character. I got the A from standard in and stored it in the variable A, and then I've printed enter another character. Getchar will be evaluated first because it's on the right hand side, and if we have a look, there is something on standard in. So before you can even enter something on the keyboard, it will grab that new line character and store it in B. Now, standard in is now empty. So this is a huge problem because the user didn't get to enter the second character. So let's go back to the start. Please enter a single character, and I put my single character on to standard in. Now what we want to do is basically get rid of this new line after I've read this A. So I'm going to read the A again. Okay, so I read it, and remembering that if I read it, it removes it. Okay, so I store my character A inside the variable A. Now, knowing that if I read it, it removes it, we can use that to get rid of the new line. I don't want to store this new line, so I'm not going to store it. I'm just going to read it, so it removes it. So I'm going to add another line after this. Now here, what you'll notice is that there is no... You'll notice that there is no left-hand side, and that's because I don't want anything to be stored. But I do want something to be read, so I can remove it. Let me just find this layer. Okay. So now I get to the line after, and I read this character. There is something on standard in, so it will go ahead and read it and remove it. Now there's no storage, so it doesn't go anywhere. And then when we get to this enter another character, we can then enter another character. So I'm going to enter Z, and then we get the new line again. Here we're going to read that Z. Okay. And we still have a new line there. Okay, so we get Z. Now, if the purpose of your program is just to read characters, it's a good idea to just add a getchar by itself after you're reading the getchar. Okay, and that will always get rid of that trailing new line character. Okay, so this is the basics of using getchar and the problem with using getchar solved. Alright, so now you know how to solve that problem. Alright, thank you.